Good morning, Chair Chapman and Ranking Member Dent and the other amazing people in the committee. For the record, my name is Representative Leonard Christian from the fabulous 4th, and I'm here to testify today on HB 1863. Excuse me. So if you would, imagine with me, you've been renting a home for many years, and then the landlord decides to renew your lease, and as part of that release, he says, well, I would like to renew this lease on the house, but I'm going to need you to hire a survey company and have a survey done so that we can just make sure we're leasing you the same house you've been renting for years. And you need to have that done before we'll sign that lease and agree to lease that land. Honestly, that'd be a little ludicrous. Why is a tenant paying for a survey to rent some land? Well, that's pretty much what's going on around these lakes in my district. I was reached out and spoken with several individuals who live on Newman Lake in my district, and they've been having challenges with DNR for many years. In fact, one of them showed me records back to 2015 that they're still not entered into a lease with DNR. DNR's lease states that the leases are very reasonable. I mean, it was like a couple $100 a year. So these homes, in many cases, either folks are living in them or maybe it's a vacation home where they grew up and played on the dock. And then all of a sudden they get a letter from DNR that says, hey, we own the land under the water and your dock is floating on top of our land. Therefore, you have to rent that land from us that your dock is floating on top of. Well, we understand that the state owns navigable lands, and the one that I saw actually was a title for the dock with title insurance from 1973, I believe it was, that stated they had the right to have this dock in Newman Lake. Well, the state has been sending them notices that they have to enter a lease. Well, as part of that lease, I read the lease, and as a realtor for almost 20 years now, I know how to read a lease, and it clearly states that you must find a company that specializes in aquatic surveys, and have a survey done, and then upload that to the DNR, and then they'll agree to lease you the land. Well, maybe on the west side here, the west side of the state, you can find somebody who's a specialist in aquatic lease surveys, but over on the east side of the state, it's very difficult, and when it's difficult, it usually is very expensive. So the cost of leasing the land, to have your dock that's already there that you've been playing on for years, your kids been playing on, that's not the issue. It's trying to find somebody and then the cost involved to have a lease. So it's almost cheaper for these folks to get an attorney and just continue to fight it year after year. And that's not what they would want to do. They just really want to be good citizens of the state, enter into a lease, and then provide on. So I believe this will actually smooth things out with a lot of the residents around lakes in our state and allow them to enter into leases that are very reasonable leases. The barrier here, the stopping point really is this aquatic survey requirement. And the RCWs doesn't require one for leased land. They're not purchasing the land, they're just renting it to allow their dock to be floating on it. With that, I hope that explains the situation very clearly, and I am here to answer any questions you might have.